So welcome, everybody. It's really nice to see you all. My name is Ann Whitaker, and this is Jody O'Donnell, and we are your co-presidents for the PFA this year. Sorry, we need to speak into the mic because that's how everything gets picked up for the video that will be posted if you ever need to see a video of a meeting. We wanted to start just with an acknowledgement of today and what happened 18 years ago today. I know there was a moment of silence, I believe, the official moment of silence at 8:46, but we know it's a day of tremendous loss and remembrance, so we certainly wanted to acknowledge that before we start the meeting. But we're happy you're all here. Thank you for coming. I would like to start this meeting. We do have a little bit of business before we hand over to Bill, and he's going to talk about a number of things going on at school and take your questions. Just to start, we'd like to introduce this year's executive board, and everyone will give a nice little smile and wave. We have Jody and I. Sue Morse, she writes all those lovely emails with lots of buttons and click-throughs and graphics and tons of information. So thank you so much, Sue. Heather Budnick, who was last year's co-president and is helping in the networking and education role, putting on a lot of meetings. Thank you, Heather. We have Claire Coyone. She's in charge of membership and grants and fundraising. So Claire's done a ton of work. Thank you, Claire. We have Jen Schur and Kim Hall. Jen is the treasurer. Kim is the assistant treasurer. You're going to hear from Jen shortly and be all up to date on our financials. And then Suzanne Harrison, who is our secretary and taking minutes in the back row. So thank you, everybody who's on the executive board this year. And if you're interested in getting involved, certainly reach out to any of us. We would love to take your name and reach out to you as we form next year's executive board, or if you want to be on a committee, or that's really kind of the best way to get involved is really talk to one of us. And if you have any questions, we quite possibly may know the answer, we might not know the answer, but if we don't, we can probably know how to get you the right answer. So please be in touch. We do have a little bit of business. Yeah, so we're going to approve the general meeting minutes from our last general meeting, which was in May of 2019, May 8th. So I know you're all very judicious minute readers. We do have copies of them on the side. So if we could just ask anybody, do we have any comments or changes to last May 8th general meeting minutes? Just pausing to hear if we have any comments. All right. Could we have a motion to have those minutes approved? Heather, in a second. Wonderful. Any objections? Motion carried. Wonderful. Really, there's a lot of ways to find out what's going on. We have this trifold calendar. There are a bunch of them on the side table. It's a very handy, heavy-duty cardstock item with our general meetings, with the guidance counselor meetings, grade level networking meetings. This is a very useful tool. We would love to give a little plug for the October 16th general meeting. We have a speaker. Her name is, what is her name? Christina Young. She's a licensed clinical social worker. She's talking about the teenage brain. I know we've heard a lot about that topic. Oops. I'm sure that you've gone to a lot of talks. Jody and I were lucky enough to hear a little bit about what she's going to talk about, and she focuses on during these changes with our teenagers, what they're going through just from a neuroscience perspective and brain development perspective, how you can also work on maintaining your connection with your kid during these hard, maybe potentially challenging times, depending on what your levels of connection are with your kids. So anyway, she has a different spin on it. And I would encourage you to come and listen to her because I'm sure you'll take away a nugget of interesting content. We also would like to encourage you to look at our website. We have the Ramagram. That's the monthly big, huge newsletter. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Lots of ways to stay connected and informed. So thank you all for coming. I'm going to hand it over to Jen. If Jen wants to give a little financial update, that'd be great.
Hello, everybody. There's not really much to report since we've only been going for a month now, so just a tiny bit of expenses has come through, but we expect it to ramp up next month. So I do have a copy of the budget and any expenses we've incurred so far. If anybody wants to look at it, I have it on the side. Anybody have any questions? No? Okay.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Jen. Very good. So this year, we are embarking on a new campaign, The Future Begins Here. You should have received a mailer at the beginning of the school year, and there's some printed here as well. But the purpose of this campaign is to raise awareness of all the things that the PFA does that have a direct impact on our students. And we want to increase involvement so that we can continue to build the best experience for them. So this slide that we worked on just shows some of the contributions that we have done. So everything from robotics equipment for the robotics club, to cafe tables in the hallway, to signage and doormats throughout that you'll be using tomorrow night at open house to find your way, from wireless microphones for the performing arts, the patio improvements, the umbrellas out back. That list goes on. We support clubs through grants to the Model UN and the debate team. We host events all through the year. We have a large safe driving week in the spring, career night every other year, and the year-end all-student picnic was donated by the PFA. In the classroom last year, we give grants to teachers. Right now, they're going to begin to apply for grants. Last year, some of the highlights there were we funded a Romeo and Juliet production for students studying Shakespeare to bring that a little bit more to life. We granted a fish tank for the special ed department to learn about marine life. The art panels in the hallway that display all the art, it kind of goes on and on. So I'm new to this role. I didn't know about all this. So I'm guessing a lot of you didn't know about all this. So that's why we're here, just to make sure everyone realizes that it does all happen behind the wheels. And we're in a school that we're as great as it is and highly ranked as we are. Our faculty continue to look to improve, and they continue to have ideas for more items. So we want to continue to support them, continue with teacher grants. So we've asked everyone to join and make a donation. They can do that today. You can do it at home later from your computer. You can do it tomorrow night at open house, but please consider being a part of it, and we can continue to do some great things. And with that, I'm going to bring up Bill.
Thanks, Jody and Ann. I consider myself fortunate to be the principal of the high school here. I've been blessed to have wonderful parent groups to work with me in my fifth year now, which is kind of crazy to me that I've been here 5 years. But truly, the whole parent community could not be more supportive. A couple comments, I guess, before I get started. For me, 9/11 is a little personal. I will send an article home later today. I lost my cousin in 9/11. He was a firefighter, and honestly, he was never found. But I know it's impacted this area of the country very greatly, and families in different ways. My family's no different. You know, my uncle's had to retire after that. His father, he was one of the battalion chiefs who was on the command center there that day. He got hurt. I had two cousins who also had to retire from smoke inhalation from trying to find their brother. To be honest with you, so the whole family was definitely deeply connected to 9/11, as I know many of you are. So it's one of those things as time goes on, for some people it never goes away, and for some people they kind of just move on and try and remember. So just wanted to share that. But again, wanted to thank you as a group for all that you've done for me, because truly this place has been renovated significantly in the last 4 years. It doesn't look like the same place when I first got here. And I'm thankful for all of you, because you continually work to make this place a better place for your kids. Anything from those cafe tables that are out in the hallway that even the adults seem to hang out at more than the kids as they come in. Just great spaces for kids. To the library being totally renovated. I mean, everything has been renovated in this building, and it's a testament to the community, to you guys. And I will say this. I did ask for people to come, and this is a good turnout. I am looking around. I do not see one man in the room. Very interesting to me, but I would be hopeful that... What's that? Yeah, I know. Some were here yesterday, though, which was nice. Some were here yesterday. But honestly, it's wonderful to have all of you here. But if we get started, just talk real quick. I won't read through the whole vision that we have here at the high school, but truly we want you to want to send your kids to this school. Your kids want to come here and want to learn every day and love being a part of the school community. We want our staff to feel valued and respected and truly enjoy everything about the school. A couple of tenets to that. We want people to do their personal best. We're all human. We all make mistakes, and there's not one person in this room who is perfect. So all of us make mistakes. Can we learn from that as we move forward and try and be the best we can? And the one thing I tell the kids all the time when we meet with them is please be kind and compassionate to everyone you meet. You know, the truth is all of us, no one's going to go to our deathbed saying, you know, could I have been a little meaner to someone? You know, the truth is we all want to be nice. So that's one thing, you know, I will constantly work on with kids. One thing we put in this year was just really, we value our teachers so much. They work so hard to do the best they can for our kids, and it's a really, really hard job. You know, to do right by kids is constantly, you know, reinforcing and trying to reinvent yourself in the classroom. So, you know, we value them, and I hope you feel this way too, but this is a statement we kind of put together for them. You know, the work they do is so hard. They're pulled in so many directions, and we want you to know that they're doing the most important work on the planet, and we truly value them. And the next slide, I'm kind of a dog freak. I don't know if you guys know that, but like, I love dogs. But the next slide is, I truly hope if you could find your child in this next slide, I hope it's the one that you see here. So both of them are chasing their dogs, chasing around the pool, but you hope for the one that's always paying attention to everything you do. So. Contact information for those of you that don't know how to get a hold of me. I know it's on the website, but my phone number is there. There's my email, the Twitter handle. If any of you are on social media, we do try and post a great deal around the school community. Now I'm fortunate that there are so many people in the school who post to social media as well that I can retweet them. It used to be, when I first started 4 years ago, it was kind of me just posting things over and over again, and now I don't need to do that anymore, which is awesome. But really, it's a way to celebrate the school community, and there's a lot to celebrate here. A couple things, you know, we continue to work on trying to enhance the look and the brand around the building. These are the signs we put up at the end of last year. For any of you who saw the senior video last year of the kids that kind of went to the elementary schools and all that, we took a picture and there was the new sign above in the back. A very awesome tradition. You know, for your kids, whether you're a freshman or a senior or in between, you know, graduation comes quick. It's a very special time here. Truly, I don't know of a better place to do graduation, although last year, I have to be honest with you, I was terrified. You know, we had to change it and move graduation, and we kind of said, we're doing it outside no matter what. And at one point, the wind kicked up. I'm like, I know a storm is coming in. So I was absolutely terrified. But we got through, and sure enough, after it was over, it did thunder and lightning, but not until after it was over. So we were very lucky. I guess that was the first time. It's never been moved. But I shouldn't say it's been moved to the next day, but it's never been moved inside since at least the people that have been here for 16, 17 years remember. So I was terrified. I didn't want to be the guy to do that, and still don't. The track seating, this actually more completed than this now. It's gorgeous. It looks like it's always been there, and you know, truly, I love the town I live in. I live in Bethel, and you know, if we were to do it, we'd have these like kind of plastic signs we put on plastic seating we'd put on a hill, and we'd move forward. Only New Canaan does something this special. I mean, it looks like it's always been here, and it's gorgeous. So, again, the community should be proud of what they do. Some of you may be wondering about what our administrative responsibilities are. This is on the website, and I won't spend a lot of time looking at it, but if you're looking for it, you can go to the website and find administrative responsibilities, and you'll see what each of the assistant principals are responsible for. I wish they had to go to Connections, but they were here earlier, so hopefully you guys had a chance to say hello to them. But you guys can find that on the website. We have some new staff this year. I just wanted to kind of go through the names. In administration, we have Dr. Tammy Hartman is a special education administrator in the building. Darcy Smith is new and old at the same time, I guess. She's back working a lot more than she used to. She had kind of left, came back last year part-time, and has increased her role this year. We have a couple of interns. I won't read through every name, but you can go through this list and we'll give you who our new staff is here in the building. It's always, honestly, it's truly awesome to bring new people in the building. It's fresh blood, and it's kind of exciting for a building. I think it helps to reinvigorate it. This summer, I sent home a letter to you guys. I hope you all read it. Dave at the middle school actually had a similar thing, but it said, "What is your hope?" And I work with the teachers and I ask them these questions. I won't go through the whole thing, but said, what makes you happy at work? How do you know? And can you really replicate it? And then what are you hoping for this year? And their answers were all positive. They want kids to be happy. They want them to be healthy. They want to be happy themselves. And truthfully, I talked to them all like, life is wonderful. It really is. But life can also be really, really hard. And I want to make sure that every child comes in the building and they have the best possible experience for them. And whatever's going on in life, whether it's really good or whether it's really tough, they can come in and they can really enjoy the day and kind of almost forget about life and do the work. I want that for them too. I want that for the staff. Again, we don't all live in a vacuum. None of us are perfect. But I want you to be able to come in and enjoy every experience you have here. So there was a video from a school district I'll share with you guys. It's 3 minutes if you don't mind. And then I'll show you the student responses, which are interesting and kind of leads to some of our school change here. But I want to share this with you. It's a very positive video and kind of uplifting. Can somebody hit the lights? Mary, you want to hit the lights? That's it. Thanks. First of all, when you see this teacher, it's all very positive, but I don't know if there's a teacher over 30. The truth is we want this place to feel like home for kids. We want them to know that they matter. But every teacher in this building said the same thing when we met with them in the beginning of the year. They want kids to feel like this place has meaning for them, that it's a special place for them. Now, I'll go through and share with what our kids responded. So this is freshman year. So we broke it down by grade. So you'll see, freshman year, if you look at this, mostly positive words. They really kind of have felt like they want to make friends. That's big. That's big for a reason that's repeated over and over again. They want to be bigger here. They want to be Now, I'm going to go here right here. Take a look and see if you see a change. So, it's still kind of positive. Like you see strands popping up, you see rays popping up. You know, midterm, I mean, there are things there. Again, part of this makes sense. Like, as school goes on, the more challenging it is. You know, so let's take a look at junior. You know, the words there become more impactful, more stress, more pressure. You can see it in what's there. And again, some of it makes sense. You know, there's a life thing with that. I get that. Like, we want this place to be challenging. We want these guys to be super successful and get in wherever they need to, but we also want them to be well. You know, so, and senior year. You know, again, there's some positive, but there's some really awful. You know, you see anorexia pop up there in kind of a big way. That means more than one person, you know, has shared that. And that's why it popped up the way it did. You know, so while, again, we are so proud of this place. This is a special school. I don't believe there's a better high school in the state of Connecticut or perhaps the country. You know, and I know I'm biased on that, but I really don't believe there is. But we want our kids to do really well. We want to push them to be the best they can be academically, emotionally, physically, but we really want them to be well, you know? So, that said, there are some things that we're going to look at this year here that you guys need to know about. You're probably starting to hear something called Schoology, and you'll get more information on that. Schoology, you're going to love when we're fully implemented. It's going to take a little while. So right now, teachers are only, for the first semester, just kind of playing with it a little bit. So all they really have to do is get their name up there. They have to get a syllabus up, and they have to post, and tell me if I'm wrong, Janelle, tests and quizzes, right? And that's it for the first semester. Second semester, they'll do more. So when you guys go to open house and things like that, you want to ask your teachers, hey, where are you posting your homework? Where are you posting your stuff so we can help support our kids? It will be better. By second semester will be a little better, and next year will be a lot better. But you're going to love it because it'll be one-stop shopping. You know, and I'm guilty of this. When I first started with technology and things like that, like, how great is this? You could all have a website and post your homework and do all this stuff, not really thinking the implications of 7 different spots or 8 different spots, and people are looking all over the place and take 30 minutes to find a homework before you even could figure it out. This will be one-stop shopping. In the long run, this will be better. This year will be a transition year, so bear with us as we work through that. A couple other things. Start times, some of you may be on a committee that's going to be coming on start times. We'll see what happens with that. Whether or not start times change, there was a lot of scientific data that supports moving start times a little bit. We'll see what the community decides with that. But that's really all about a student wellness issue when you really think of start times. At least that's what we've talked about. But there's a lot more components to student wellness. And what we're kind of committed to here is taking a look at different things. Number one, phones. Hopefully you're all okay with this, but phones we want eliminated from classrooms. Truthfully, talk to your kids, tell them to make sure they put them in our phone cradles that we have in our classrooms. I went through the other day. There were some rooms where that it was not necessarily happening. We're going to get there. This is new for all of us, but realistically, phones are a distraction at the very least and a cheating tool at the worst. And honestly, you may hear your kids may be asked to take their watches off, during tests and things like that. And this is not a New Canaan thing. This is a national thing and beyond. I got an article the other day in Britain that their school district was taking away their smartphones because they were using them to cheat. And it's an interesting thing. As we have lunches with kids every year, and we meet with pockets of kids. When I was younger, it might have been kids who didn't care so much who would cheat. Now kids are describing it as the most high-powered kids are cheating because they're trying to get an edge. And the truth is, again, we want to create a school of kids who are well. We want them to be competitive. We want them to be the best they can possibly be, but we want it to be healthy in how we're doing things. So there's a couple things that we don't want. So phones, we want out of the classroom. They can have them in the hallway. They're in high school. That's awesome. They can have them in downtimes. That's awesome. They should be able to have them. I don't want to control their life in any way. I want them to have their life. But in the classroom, they're out. So support us with that if that's okay. Homework. teachers, we got together and we talked about some things. I changed this from the beginning of the year, and this is, as I said, is kind of something in the works. 2:30 in the beginning of the year, and teachers have said that they've been working with kids after school, and if they posted something, they might not have gotten to it till 3 o'clock. So we said, fine. Hopefully teachers are posting it like as their class kind of goes on or in the beginning of the day. But if they can't get to it, 3 o'clock is the time we're going to say it's posted, not 2:30. So that's a change from what I had sent home originally. If they have a digital assignment, we want that turned in by 11 o'clock. Again, when you think about the whole start time thing and good sleep and sleep cycles and all that, we don't want kids up till 2 o'clock in the morning doing work. Now, this doesn't prevent them from doing that, right? We're just trying to make a suggestion that it's due at 11 o'clock if it's a digital assignment. If somebody has math problems or a science lab and they're doing something that's not due digitally, they might still be up. That's on you as a parent to help support this. There's a time to cut it off. I think 11 is still too late. However, I understand that. There should be some rational thought process. Sometimes you're out late at a sport or somewhere else and you're doing something and you might be up late. My daughter was up till 11 o'clock last night doing work. I totally get it. However, there is a spot where we really should kind of look at that and say, you need sleep. And, some of it may be urban legend, but I hear things all the time. My kid was up till 2, 3 in the morning doing work. So I don't want that. It's not healthy. It's not great for kids. We need to figure out a way to do all that. We asked teachers to post how long a homework assignment should take. Now, as a teacher, when I taught, I didn't think about that. I just said, here's your assignment. Now, if somebody came in and told me, hey, Mr. Egan, this took me an hour, I might then think about it. But as a rule, I wasn't necessarily thinking about it. So we asked teachers to really post how long they think it should take. And then, hopefully, the idea behind that is it would start a discussion with the teacher and the student. If a student took too long doing it, they may come in and say, hey, this assignment took me an hour. They could then have a discussion with the kid, or maybe it's other kids that were involved in that too. It might have taken all of them an hour. It's also going to create a discussion at home with you guys as families, that you might be able to say to your child, listen, this has taken you a real long time. Maybe your child's oversubscribed. Maybe they're in 5 APs and they should be in 2. Maybe there's something with the assignments. Maybe it's a conversation then with the teacher and the family. So we're hoping that this will create more discussions. And this is not a perfect scenario to start. We're just trying to set some guidelines that we think are healthier and force a discussion. So anyway, that's why we're doing that. And again, we want them to be no more than 20 to 25 minutes a night. Now, you may see that spread out over a week. Hey, this is due next Thursday. It might take you 80 minutes. There's a time management thing of pacing that over the week. So it might be 20 minutes a day. So understand that can happen. Understand it's an average, that there may be an occasional assignment. And also that teachers are working through this. We had a department chair meeting yesterday, and some people were honest. They were like, I'm struggling with how to do this. So they're working through how to do it. It's not that they don't want to. It's not that they won't. They're just struggling with how to get there. So there'll be some time about how we get there, but we're committed to doing that. A couple other things. We are doing classroom walkthroughs. We want our teachers to see best learning practices in the building, but we also want them to see the pace of the day that kids are under and the work that they're under, because the truth is we do these walkthroughs and they're really awesome. They're reflective tools for our teachers, but it's amazing to see how hard our kids work all the time. Like I said before, our teachers are awesome. When I went to high school, it wasn't like this. These kids are engaged and focused every single day, all day long. This is a special place. We have a couple teacher groups looking at some stuff for us. One is the purpose of homework. So we've made some changes to homework, but we're going to have teacher groups take a look and say, what is the purpose of homework? And if they need to add more to what we've done, great. If they need to take some things away, that's awesome too. But we want our faculty invested in some of the changes that we're trying to make here. We're going to have a group take a look at project-based learning and the importance of project-based learning and how best practices in the classroom, what we could do here as a school. And they're going to report back, and then grading assessment practices as well. We're going to continue our emotional intelligence work. There was a website upgrade that's in flux. Some of you may look at it and say, that's wonky or that looks weird, but we're going to continue to make that better. But it's visually better. It looks better with the pictures and the videos and things like that. Christy's not here for school safety, but we continue our ALICE training. We'll notify everybody each month when we're doing a safety drill. I'll have Janelle talk about the honor code, which is something the faculty really got together about and started really some of this wellness work last year. And then pace of the day. You know, we're continuing to look at the pace of the day. And what I mean by that is really our school schedule. And what's the best practice around that? You know, last year we visited a couple of schools that took a look at the block schedule. We'll continue to take a look at that. You know, a lot of studies really talk about having 4 or 5 classes in a day and no more for a lot of reasons. You lower the transition time for kids. They can dive deeper into the learning, less homework on a nightly basis, treat more like a college kid. There's a whole bunch of reasons to take a look at that. So we're going to continue to explore that throughout the year. And we're going to report back in time with the faculty as well. Janelle. I want to introduce Janelle Wilmot, who is really chairing our faculty committee about the honor code. So give her a big round of applause, and she's going to talk to you about that. I'm going to have my coffee.
Thank you, Bill. So if you haven't met me, as Bill said, my name is Janelle Wilmot. I'm a science teacher, so maybe I'll see some of you tomorrow night at the open house. Basically, the honor code, we've been writing it and revising it for 2 years. We have a committee that's an interdisciplinary committee that included a counselor on it and an administrator on it. We were looking at, well, we originally created it because we feel like, as wonderful as your children are, and I do mean that, and I echo what Bill said about this is an amazing place to work, and a big portion of that in our eyes is because your kids are so awesome. I can't tell you how surprised I was when I first started working here 9 years ago. Children were leaving the room saying, "Thanks, Mrs. Wilmot." And I'd be like, "I just gave you a test. Why are you thanking me for that?" "Anytime, kids." So they're really, really wonderful. But the one thing that we see as an issue is that there's a lot of cheating that happens. And I think that in their head they can justify it because they say, "I was really busy last night, I didn't get to my homework." Or as Bill mentioned, I need an edge because, I'm going to be applying to Harvard next year. So we were trying to look at it, and when we looked at it, we looked at different high schools and different colleges to see what they had out there as honor codes. Obviously, this is a great place, and we have our own unique take on things. So we created one that we thought was really relevant to our district. Now, the piece of it is that's maybe a little unique, and I don't have a copy of the honor code up here. I am planning. Yeah, we are planning to get it to you at some point in time. What I've done is I've sent it to all of your children because we're asking for feedback. We didn't have any kids on the committee in the last 2 years. So now we just want, and we don't have a copy of it on the website because we want to just tweak it a little bit more with feedback from kids and also feedback from you as parents. Because when you get it, you'll see that there are 3 pieces of where we find responsibility. We have responsibilities that the student has, responsibility that we as the teachers have, but we also have responsibilities for you as parents. So I'm here to ask you personally to please indicate to your kids that you have the expectations that they're going to have integrity and they're going to have honor, and that when they turn in their work, the understanding is it's their work. Okay? So if you hear your kid say to you, "Oh, Mom, I'm so busy. I'm going to just get that from my friend tomorrow," maybe clarify what "get that from my friend" means. Okay? So if it's getting an assignment, like what the assignment is, we're on board with that. If it's the fact that they're going to copy from their friend, please just tell them it's not worth it. Here are some scenarios that you might come across that I can help you work with. If your kid says, "I don't understand this, I'm just going to get it from so-and-so," here's what I would say. Don't get it from so-and-so. Go to your teacher. Your teacher will be happy to extend the due date and help you. We're all here before school, after school. We have some planning periods in common with your kids' free periods. We're really happy to help them. And I personally, as a teacher, would rather see that than see them cheat, because then they don't learn what I was giving the assignment for. The other piece, if time got away from them and they can't do it, again, go to your teacher, tell them, and you can probably work something out. Okay, so that's all that I wanted to say. The other piece that I have up there is that it's preparing students for the real world. A lot of people think that it is urban legend that you can get kicked out of college for cheating. It is not. when you go to college, if a professor finds you cheating, and it's different for different schools, sometimes they'll give you one freebie, but we do know of students who have been removed from their colleges, and that whole semester, if the grades aren't in, it doesn't count. So it's their effort and their time and possibly your money that gets wasted if they cheat. So if we're trying to get kids prepared for their future, this is a really important piece that we'd like the whole community to focus on. I have no doubt that all of your children are honest kids, but I think there's something where they can justify it in their head, and we'd like to take that justification away. All right, thank you.
I didn't talk to Ms. Wilmot about this, but I think what we could do is we could put the honor code in the weekly update, if that's okay. And we want your feedback too. So I know she created a Google form, so we will share a Google form also within the weekly update. So if you want to give feedback, and obviously anybody who couldn't be here as well could give feedback to that as well. But, you know, and will it stop all cases of cheating? No. You know, also putting a homework policy doesn't stop all cases of somebody extending a homework assignment. But what it is, I think, more important is a statement of values, that we're saying, hey, this is something we want to stop. And we do think that will have an impact. So thank you again, Ms. Wilmot. You know, honestly, each year we're very big on celebrating this school. You know, I would ask if we were in tables, I'd probably ask you guys to think about your children from last year, and really, what are you most proud about your own kids? You know, for me, you know, one thing I want to share with you, I am now officially in the same boat as you guys. I've been a high school principal, I guess, this is my 11th year. I was an administrator for 4 years before that. So I've been an administrator for a long time, and I feel like, forgive me for this, I'll have somewhat of an ego. I feel like I'm actually pretty good at this. You know, I think I'm decent at it. However, I'm a parent of a high schooler now. My daughter's in 9th grade, and I'm absolutely terrified. So it really does, it frightens me. You know, I just want her to I want her to feel good all the time about how she shows up at school, how she feels socially, how well she does, and hope I don't screw it up. You know, that's really the truth. Like, I'm not a perfect guy. I'm not, you know, and I don't want to mess her up along the way. You think about the ills of your own lives growing up, right? Like your parents, the impact they have on you, for good or for bad. You know, hopefully she takes the good and she does great and has a wonderful life. But you want that for your kids. You don't want to mess anything up, right? So at least I hope you all think that. Maybe it's just me. You know, but truthfully, I'm in the same boat as you. You know, I have a high schooler now, and the things you're probably concerned about, I'm concerned about. And you know, if there's anything you need, I'll be here. But I just wanted to let you know I'm in the same boat. We'll continue to have Twitter, our weekly update. We'll celebrate our kids. I'll try and communicate with you guys on a regular basis. If there's anything you need from me, feel free to email me. I always get back to everybody. So if you need, and if I don't email me again for some reason, it's an accident. But if you need something, feel free to have a conversation with me. It doesn't mean we'll always agree. We might disagree on some stuff, and that's okay. That's part of life. But I certainly will listen and try and make this the best place for your child and for you. So anyway, one thing I wanted to talk real briefly about is, I won't go through all these scores. This will be posted, and you'll see it. And I'll go through, and I think it's October 7th. I do a data presentation at the Board of Ed meeting. But I will just share briefly our SAT scores from last year. You know, again, while we continue to focus on wellness, we still want to have achievement. And our kids do really, really well. These are for English, for language arts, we had the best scores in the state of Connecticut last year, beating out everyone. So there was nobody who beat us. So in math, we came in second behind Darien. I don't know if I'm allowed to publicly say that town's name, but you know, we still did quite well, and we are going to continue to do well. So any changes that we try and make, you know, in the area of let's say student wellness, that doesn't come with doing poorly or doing less on how we do. We will still achieve, and we will still continue to do well, but we'll do so in a way that's hopefully healthier for our kids as we go about making some change. I just want to end on, well, two things I guess I want to end on. I have a little bit. Could you mind shutting the lights for me real quick, right behind you? Right to the right. Yeah, thank you. You don't have to do all of them. That's good. You know, I talked a little bit before about teachers and how important they are. So it's a little 3-minute video that just kind of talks about teachers. I just wanted to take a look at that. If I could run it.
Right now there is a kindergarten teacher perusing the aisles of Target, even though he still has 2 more weeks of summer break. He is already dreaming up ways to make his students feel welcome. His classroom will be a refuge. For a few kids, it may be the only place where they feel truly safe because of a teacher. There's a language arts teacher who will take a week and give up her lunch period, those blessed 26 minutes to scarf down a meal, in order to help a student learn how to read. And although the progress is slow, this boy will become a reader because of a teacher. There's a math teacher who will have a room full of kids who claim that they're just not good at math. By the end of the year, his kids will be geeking out over ways to solve complex problems. They'll see that math can be creative and even fun, and they will become problem solvers because of a teacher. There's a science teacher who will inspire her students to chase after questions. And one afternoon, they'll be so excited about their experiments that they won't even notice the bell ring. And they will become scientists because of a teacher. There are history teachers who will inspire students to record history, and a group of PE teachers who will encourage kids to get more active. There are technology teachers who will help students send their work to the world, and fine art teachers who will get kids to find their creative voice. There are foreign language teachers who will help kids communicate globally. And there are CTE teachers preparing students for all kinds of jobs. And there's this teacher librarian who will see the students as children and not data. He's creating a makerspace while also inspiring kids to fall in love with reading. And they will become lifelong learners because of a teacher. And right now there's a 4th grade teacher with a scribbled up yellow legal pad. She's dreaming up wild new projects, and even though she jokes about not wanting to go back to school, she is secretly excited about meeting her new group of students. This is her 27th year, and she's still taking creative risks. To her, it's no big deal, it's what she does, but it's a big deal to her students. To them, she is a hero. And this year, she will make her students' world epic, like she always does. They will remember her forever, and she will change the world in ways that she cannot even fathom. And all of this will happen because of a teacher.
Thanks. The truth is, our teachers, I want to champion them. They work really hard, and they don't do it to get rich. So they do it for everybody get into it because they really care about kids, and they want this to be a special place for your children. Doesn't mean we're perfect. There'll be mistakes along the way, but they're going to work hard to try and make it a great place for them. And I'll just end with this. Thank you for allowing me to be the principal here. I truly think this is a special place. You have helped me in more ways than I could ever imagine. We've been able to progress this school in so many ways in the last 4 years, and that's only because of you, the parent community. You value education. You work hard to make sure that your kids are successful. You want to make the culture the best it can be for kids. And again, while it's all not perfect, I truly don't think there's a better school in the state of Connecticut. So I want to thank each and every one of you. And if you have any questions for me, it's probably best to come ask me individually, and I'll be here and field them all. So thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Should I turn on the music?